Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Bobloon, aka Pabloon, and today we are actually finally back. I am back from my vacations, and I hope you guys had a great Christmas and New Year's. There's been some pretty nice positive changes in Blitz, and the half annually, so every 6 months, they refresh the shipyard. And as you can see, I do have a bunch of the ships already, so this is not the complete list, but I thought I wanted to give my recommendations on at least what I would get and some of the ships I already have. But yeah, just want to go over what I think are some really cool options here, and there are some pretty good deals in between. So the Flint, it is a Atlanta class cruiser, and you get these nice little 127mm that reload in 5 seconds. It's a light cruiser, and it is very much like the Atlanta from the good old days. Main difference being that Atlanta gets a normal smoke and Flint gets radar and fuel smoke. This thing gets sonar and a normal smoke. And I will say this right off the bat, if you don't have Atlanta, fear not. This is, in my opinion, a better version of it because you get 3 fuel smokes and you get 2 radars. You still have the same guns, the same torpedoes, but your consumable suite is amazing. And to be honest, this is a really, really good pickup. The only thing is, the price is kind of insane. I mean, 85 copper for the Flint. If you really enjoy playing, tier 7, this is a fun cruiser, but I don't think 85 copper is a, too good of a deal. You can get a set 35, which is a tier 8 premium for 10 less. But it is a fun ship, and if you do have some copper sitting around, this is a ship I would definitely pick up. It's quite fun. Next up, we have the Hayate, which comes in at a pretty decent price compared to other shipyards. In general, this whole shipyard is very generous and, well, not generous. I mean, you still spend a ton on these ships, but it's a lot more feasible and reasonable compared to other shipyards. And this one goes for 35 titanium, the most rare resource in the game. And I do like my Hayate, but it's a ship I never really play. It's a niche little boat, and I kind of wanted to warn people from just spending their titanium outright. If you are not a gunboat DD player, this is gonna feel weird. If you're mainly a Shimakaze type player, this might be fun for you. You have pretty powerful torpedoes with a torpedo reload booster, only one. And then you get these kind of good 127mm, so it bridges the gap between Harugumo and Shimakaze. And if you like that kind of playstyle, this might not be bad for you. Just keep in mind 35 titanium could get you some pretty awesome other stuff in this shipyard, and I will get to that. But this is kind of like a niche little DD, taste. If you have a funny taste in DDs like I do, this one could be fun. Now, for probably the best pickup in this whole shipyard, if you ask me, these are my recommendations, and what I would get if I didn't already own this is the Napoli. This thing is a joy to play, and it is such a fun ship. You are a massive battle cruiser with 250mm guns, 54 actually. They do good damage, sometimes feels like a Stalingrad. And then you get the most insane secondary suite with 152s for your manuals and 90mm guns for your autos, with secondary overload 2 and fuel smoke 3. And this is SAP secondary, so you melt Smolensk, Minotaur, every kind of DD, and trust me, you can also fight battleships if you are smart and get the drop on them. This is an absolutely insane pickup for 35 steel, and probably the biggest joy out of this shipyard. I was so happy to see something new in the tier 10, suite. We've seen the Hayate before, but Napoli, I'm pretty sure, is the first time it's here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the price is really, really good, and I can only recommend this, 10 out of 10. It's one of the most fun cruisers I have in my suite of cruisers at tier 10. And every time I play it, you just rush down, use your smoke, and if you have teammates you are in communications with, this thing is even more powerful. You can pull away a whole team's attention on you for, well, maybe you might just survive a minute or two, but you will deal so much damage. You also get torpedoes, as you can see, with really, really good range. They have almost a 10-kilometer range. And these Lancia Siluri are really nice to have, and you just chuck them out left and right. They have a pretty fast reload, as you can see. So this is a 10 out of 10 recommend from me. I think this is a very good ship, and I know a lot of you guys have picked it up. If you want to see fun gameplays with it, I have a bunch on my channel, and I will link the videos in the description if you want to know how to play this. Now, next up in the shipyard, people, we have the Heisen here, a tier 9 Japanese battleship that you would on first glance think, wow, this thing looks pretty good. You know, you get 4 10mm, you get 12 of them, and you get a rapid reload. Seems pretty good on the table, and it is a solid BB overall. I'm not saying anything bad against this, but the price of 20 titanium plus 20 steel is pretty hefty, and there are just other things in this shipyard that I see as more worth. But I still want to say this ship is a fun ship to play. If you like Japanese battleships and you just in general like the sniping playstyle, this one is a little bit different, seeing as you don't get a precise aim, but you have so many guns. And it is tier 9, so keep that in mind. You will get up tier to tier 10. But the occasional tier 8 game, trust me, this thing is a blast to play. Just be aware of the price tag on this thing. This is the Khabarovsk, whatever you want to call it. This thing used to be a tech tree ship, and it is quite, well, some people would say probably the worst DD in the game, because it has incredibly bad stealth, really bad maneuverability. It's extremely fast though, but you have bad stealth, bad turn time, and your torpedoes don't go very far. I have the elite module, the legendary mod, so I actually decreased the range even more, but that is to get some more range. Now, this is, in my opinion, a pure gunboat, but you have the YOLO capabilities. As you can see, you get rapid reload, the engine boost, and 1 smoke. This is an acquired taste, guys. This is not a ship that you're gonna be dominating in every game. There's a lot of factors that makes this ship really bad. But I will also say this, it's one of the most fun DDs I've played. I got this back when it was a tech tree ship. So seeing the price of 25 titanium and 25 steel, you really gotta, know what you're getting yourself into. This is not gonna make you overpowered. This is not gonna make you the best player in your team because you have this crazy premium. It's just gonna make you try a completely different playstyle that's very challenging, but at the same time extremely rewarding once it pays off. I've had many games where I had sat at range with HE spamming battleships and absolutely annihilating DDs with AP. You have the speed and you have the firepower in your guns to do some damage, but yeah, you have to be good at dodging and knowing this game, because everybody can hit this Kaba. It's very big. It's a nice, juicy target, especially for heavy cruisers like Hindenburg and other stuff like that. But I will say this: it's one of my, if I've completely given up on trying and I just want to have some fun, we're playing the Khabarovsk and rushing it down. All right, now here we are with the Z-35. I actually ended up buying this on my main account because this is really a ship I've been looking forward to. If you are a gunboat player and you enjoy German DDs with their powerful AP, this might just be a fun little ship for you. Keep in mind, 75 copper is quite expensive. And if you're eyeing the flint instead, this is kind of what you have to pick between, because copper takes time to grind. But the Z-35 has these tiny little guns here, 128s, that shoot in 3.4 seconds. So it's kind of like the tier 8 version, the German version of the Akisuki Japanese gunboat. You actually get a decent fire chance, so this thing can use HE, but it's definitely an AP ship for, lightly armored targets. You have short-range torpedoes, so keep that in mind. This is more of a gunboat. And it has these crazy short-burst smokes. It's a fun ship, but again, the price is pretty high. I would just, think about it once or twice before you make a decision on these types of niche, DDs and cruisers, because they are special, some of them, and this is one of them. But like I said, just pick this up, and I really like this boat. So if you are into gunboats and stuff like that, this could definitely be fun for you. Yeah, then there's this thing. I'm not gonna say anything about yeah, whatever this is. We're gonna move right on. Now we have the Baji. Guys, I'm gonna come clean here and say I've actually never played the Baji, but as you can see, it's an Izumo copy in the Pan Asia tech tree with spotting plane and rapid reload. For the price of it, I don't think it's worth it, because I haven't heard anything good about this ship, but then again, I haven't played it, and I've never heard anything about it. So when I see 30 titanium, I just instantly think no. A good ship, though, to pick up, I've heard, I haven't tried it, is the Black Vittorio Veneto. This thing is just a Vittorio Veneto without fuel smoke. Instead, you get speed boost and rapid reload. As you can see with SAP, this could be pretty crazy, and I've only heard good things about this ship. And honestly, I'm considering picking it up right now. You guys let me know in the comments if I should pick it up, because like I said, I've only heard positives about this, and it looks fun, man. It's like a Roma kind of, but you have a speed boost instead of a precise aim. It sounds good to me, man. Next up, we have the Black Lightning. I played this when it came out, and you know, it's not a bad ship. It's a Lightning with rapid reload, so you know, super fun, of course. But to me, it's just it's a little bit expensive, and there's another DD in this shipyard that I would say you should get instead. But that is also because of my personal preference and bias. If you are a, you know, procurer of British DDs, and especially ones that are more torpedo focused, this one is just going to be super fun because you have this same torpedo power, but you get more gun power instead of DFA. You get this rapid reload, and you can get an extra one with your commander. So overall, it's a good DD, but pretty basic and plain, and feels a lot like the normal Lightning. Next up, we have this thing though. Compared to the Black Lightning, this is the DD I would pick up in between these two if you're considering one of the destroyers. It costs, you know, it's a little bit more expensive, 10 titanium and 5 steel. Kind of the same price, but like I said, titanium is very rare to get, and people might not have that much. Especially if you are a free-to-play player, which is what the shipyard is for, in my opinion, to make sure that the free-to-play players that grind this game have a chance at something nice. And the Cossack is nice. Let's start out with the guns here. You get 120 mils that reload in just under 6 seconds. You get 8 of them, guys. 2 in the front, 2 in the rear. This thing is an HE spammer. This thing is a DD fighter. It can kill any DD at tier 8. And it is considered one of the best destroyers at the tier. Orkan is one of the other ones that comes to mind for me. It's because it has 6 fuel smoke 1s, guys. You can use these all the time. They have a 1-minute cooldown. You just spam them throughout the whole game. You might not have a speed boost, and it is a pretty big ship. But damn, it is fun. It is really fun. You also get torpedoes, of course, I forgot to mention, but you only get 4. And they do have pretty good range. And I actually do enjoy, you know, having them, to be honest, because they are very good for DD fights. Just sending a Doomspear into the side of a, you know, a Benson or something. It feels good every time. You, of course, also get the sonar. And overall, this is just a really fun package. The story of the Cossack is also pretty insane. If I remember correctly, the Cossack is the British destroyer that rammed into a German port in France, and, well, pretty much on a, what's it called? I can't use the S word here. We're not gonna come back from this mission. There's a pretty crazy story about the Cossack, and yeah, wholeheartedly recommend this over the Black Lightning. Alright, coming up on some of the final ships here, and we're going to be looking at the, oh, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Novorossiysk. It's a tier 6 Soviet battleship that tries to mimic the Roma, but at a higher tier. You get speed boost, rapid reload, and sonar, which is quite a nice suite for this tier, man. There's not a lot with this amount of consumables at tier 6. And that you being a battleship as well, with this cool looking Halloween camo. Let me just take the Halloween camo off so you can see the ship. It's a pretty cool one, and if it wasn't for 55 copper, I would say this is a really, really good pickup. But again, 55 copper, little on the expensive side, not greedy at all, but still a little bit expensive. So it is, you know, when we have to think, how do I want to spend my valuable resources? But if you do like low tier games and you are interested in battleships, this is a really fun ship. Now, I know I am not, well, let me say, you guys know I am not a fan of CVs, but I will say one thing. The Graf Zeppelin, which is also in the shipyard now, for actually a pretty reasonable price for such a unique ship, I will definitely recommend this, and I don't think anybody is going to dispute me when saying that the Graf Zeppelin is more of a gunfighting artillery ship than it actually is a CV. Yes, it is also a CV, and you can see we get Stukas and we get BF-109s. It is a fun battle cruiser, battle ship. What the fuck is this? A battle carrier? I don't know, man. It has so many guns, and they are cruiser caliber, and you can see you get precise aiming, and you get auto secondary overload. This is pretty much like playing a, you know, brawling German battleship amalgamation with planes on it, and yeah, it's really fun. And it's in tier 7 as well, where you're going to be facing up against the Saipan and stuff like that. So sometimes you're forced, because you don't have that many planes on this thing, to actually go and use your guns. The plane count on this is so low that most of the time if you're not extremely skilled, and trust me, I'm not, you will end up being very close to the enemy and brawling DDs and battleships alike with your guns. This is a super fun ship, and if you are interested in trying this, I can really recommend it. Yeah, you guys did not think I was going to recommend a CV, huh? But this thing compared to the Sansang, if you're thinking of any of the two, this is the one you pick up, man. Holy shit, a blast. And this is actually one of my first ever ships in the game because, yeah, believe it or not, Bob has played carrier quite a bit, unfortunately. Very, very hypocritical of me. But yeah, I love Stukas. It's such a nice plane, and the fact that we have them on this, I don't even know how they managed to land Stukas on a carrier. I mean, I know they never did because this thing got scrapped. But very interesting to see. And this is going to be the final ship of this video and my recommendations for the shipyard. I hope you guys got some insight and maybe you know a little bit better now what you should get and what you shouldn't get. Obviously, these are all personal preferences and my bias, and you guys should get what you find interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name has been Bobloon, aka Pabloon, and I am signing out.